Hello, I'm Victor Shakir. Welcome to America's Real Stimulus Package. I'm sitting in for Ken Johnson today. As a matter of fact, Ken Johnson is here today. But I'll be
Yeah.
sitting in for him, and because I wanted to interview him. Ken has been on the show, but there's a lot of knowledge that we have that you don't really know about. So let us start by who is Ken Johnson?
Oh, who's Ken Johnson? Well, wow. What can I say? Well, I'm a native San Franciscan. Um, I'm from South Park. That's down by the ballpark. It's a little round park. That's where I'm from. Grew up in the city. Went to the schools in the city, and my parents had a cleaners on Third and Bryant, and my father built the steam boiler to make the press work. So I helped him out.
Is
He
that
built.
right?
Yeah, he was a genius, man. My dad was he was a very special guy, and that's how I got a lot of that building things and tearing stuff up and putting it back together from him.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So. And I went to school, regular schools. I went to school with O.J. Simpson uh, and
Was
you
that
know
at Gal?
at Galileo. Did you go to Gal?
Well, I didn't go to Gal, but I went to Washington.
Uh-huh.
But I, the women that the guys at Gal, OJ, and them was with was at
Oh,
Washington.
was at
So I
Washington?
was
Okay.
with it. So we was all together,
Yeah.
kind of
Okay.
like.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So then after that, let's see. After high school, I went to Mission. I went to a lot of high schools. I graduated from Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then I was part of the poverty program. Worked with Ted Frazier and Percy Pinckney.
Okay.
Yeah, we had we had it going on,
Big
man.
names.
Yeah, man. I had an art gallery on Third and Mission.
Mm-hmm.
The building's still there, the Williams Building.
Okay.
Ted ran the organization. It was called what was it called? The San Francisco Coalition.
Mm-hmm.
And what that was is that when they was about to build the Moscone Center,
Okay.
Ted said, hey man, we got to make sure that we get San Francisco citizens to work on to get the jobs.
Right.
So he met with all the organizations throughout the city, and we formed the San Francisco Coalition that he ran.
Okay.
And as part of that, we oversaw we were like the compliance officers. We made sure it was enough brothers and Chinese and
Right.
white folks, and it was mixed according
Right.
to the makeup of the different districts.
So
They
the
don't
money
do that
could
no
be-
more.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So the money could be spread around.
With the citizens that work and that live in the city,
Right.
we want to make sure they got the jobs.
Right.
So
right.
that's what Ted created that, and I was a part of that. I was the photographer and the PR guy. I had an art gallery and it was nice, man. We had the art gallery also. We had a parking lot which we ran, and we had it was a restaurant on the corner called Survival Corner. That's right at Third and Mission.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had offices upstairs, two offices upstairs on third and second floor,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a skills bank. So we had it going on during that time, man. It's really great. I mean, I don't know what happened to the construction. The way they do it now. A lot of people that live in the city don't even work on those. With all these buildings they building.
Right.
So a lot of people ain't even working, and they live in the city.
Right. Live in the city, not reaping any other benefits.
And that's a big mistake because the people who live here should get the jobs before to issue them out to anybody else. I think
Well, I
it would be
think
good.
I think that that's true too. And sometimes they say that they're not qualified, but I know these people are qualified. But Ken, ever since I've known you, met you over 20 years ago.
Been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. You've always been active
Hmm.
and doing things. And I hear about the jobs that you've had. But what about how did you learn about TV production? Because I know that's one of your best things, and
Oh
I've
yeah,
watched your
yeah,
work. So how
yeah.
did you get into TV production?
Well, during that time we had the the art gallery. No, wait. This was before that. When I was coming up, I was kind of hard headed, and I got in a lot of trouble. And that's when I ran into Percy Pinckney.
Okay.
Percy's a cold character, man, but he loved the community, man. He would
Mm-hmm.
inspire us, that we could do something with our lives, and
Right.
a lot of times, brother, youngsters don't be thinking about that, so, I was going to jail and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
I had cameras and I was fooling around with cameras a lot of the times, and Percy hooked me up to a friend of his. His name was Chief White, Chief White. I think it was Chief White. Anyway, he had a photography studio on Hayes Street in Fillmore, so that's when I got involved with photography and fell in love with it, and started working with Percy, taking pictures of fashion shows and things, and then I ran into Ted Frazier, and Ted Ted was doing. He had a organization called Soul West. Anyway,
Okay.
he gave fashion shows and dances, and funny thing about the things he gave was during the intermission time, he would always have a teacher, professor, or a military person to encourage us to stay in school and think about getting involved with that particular thing what they was offering. Whatever, if they was from the military, they said, hey, this thing with the military. If they was from the police department, they would say, hey, think about a career with the police department. If they was a teacher, they would talk about whatever profession that he bring in. They would encourage, us, the kids that was at the event to stay in school and try to do something. So it was always a positive thing that Ted would do, and so that's how I got into photography, and I liked it so much. Then that's when video of it was just starting out. It was black and white, reel
Okay.
to reel,
Okay. Okay.
and I got my hands on we had got a grant. As I told you, we was running that program, so I had got a grant, and I just I had a purchase order and I got some equipment. I wasn't ashamed that you go down there and select some equipment, and I got
Yeah.
involved with it, man, and
Yeah.
then I was fortunate enough to get a job with KQED Channel 9 right across the street from us now, and I was in a training program which taught people how to produce and direct TV programs.
Mm-hmm.
And we had our own studio. It was a real studio, and the tape at that time, the videotape was 2 inches thick.
Wow.
The videotapes were 2 inches thick. It was all and it was all unionized. So we worked through the union, and the editing and all that stuff. If you always you always had to tell people what you wanted. It was like you was the director, just like you switching now. That's a position, except those cameras would have people behind them, and you wouldn't be seen. You'd be talking to your camera people. Ready one, zoom in. Camera two, give me a wide shot. Camera three, stay, hold on that shot. You'd be directing your cameras, and we would be producing a show like we seeing right now. This is called a flash studio because you do everything. I mean,
Okay.
the host is the TD, he's the
Yeah.
director. You doing the whole thing. Plus you're doing the interviewing. But I just fell in love with it, man, and I saw how that one day we could have our own studio. But at the time, those color cameras cost thousands and thousands of dollars. Like when I was at the station, they was happy when they got a color camera, a little portable camera, was heavy as hell. It cost $65,000, and it was called an Ikigami. I never will forget that. It was an Ikigami color camera, and it cost quite a bit. But now, see the whole thing now with this digital stuff, and these cameras are so cheap. Even your telephone, you could take you could take video. We can do a tremendous. We can do a lot with the equipment now that at one time we couldn't possibly think about having a studio because the costs were enormous, and but now everything is wide open, man. It's really a wonderful time to be alive and to have these opportunities, just like we are right now. We on TV, man. I mean, this is worldwide, man, and we got a shot at. Somebody might see me and say, "Hey, I like the way he looks." And I like the way I talk or whatever.
Yeah,
Or you,
yes,
I mean,
yeah.
the possibility is there.
Yes.
So,
Well, let me get back. You spoken about how you had worked in the community, and what I want to ask, and you mentioned having problems with the law, but for those that you're watching,
yeah,
I just want to say this: it's okay to make mistakes, as long as you learn from them. And we can see that Mr. Johnson has learned quite a bit, and the things that he was in, we've the money being circulated. So I have a question I'm going to ask him. How can the African Americans in San Francisco help to revitalize the neighborhoods? How
Well,
can the African Americans help?
well, that's a good question, and the way I feel about that is that the vacant. Just I'm gonna talk about the Fillmore Heritage Center.
All right.
It's the building
I'm
that
familiar.
Yoshi's used to be in,
Yes.
and a lot of people now. That building is vacant right now.
Is it?
It's vacant. The last place that was open was the bar on the corner, and it just closed. So now all of the venues in the building is closed, and so my idea would be is to revitalize the Fillmore by opening up that building and producing TV shows out of there. Have it as like a finishing school where you'd have a lot of different marketable skills going on at the same time as you're using the building for what it was built for, as an entertainment center. You got a kitchen in there. You get the kitchen going again. I talk with people at San Francisco City College, and they're interested in doing, maybe doing a culinary class in there, along with some of his brother I know who had a culinary class, a little program going. His name was Pastor Ayers, and the name of the cooking program was Red Rose.
Okay.
Yeah, but they had it at another place, but some kind of way it didn't work out. But we bring him in back and then put him in that kitchen, and because there's a lot of people who were being trained out of that who pulled themselves out of a bad situation. And I saw this, and they got involved with cooking and fell in love with cooking, and he had a nice program. I think we need to go back to those programs that were working. It's like the programs that Percy and Ted Frazier, had going on that proved to be so beneficial to us and put a lot of people on the right road, to become successful, and where they felt useful, where they had some guidance. Because right now, I think people the brothers ain't got no real guidance or no goals or doing anything that they like to do. And I think doing television is something you fall in love with doing. Now, do you like let me ask you, now you're new to this, and I want to know, do you feel good about television? The brief time you've been doing it.
As a matter of fact, I'm loving
See, you fall in love with it. See, you fall in love with
yeah,
it, man.
because you're able to
Yeah.
get the things out that you want to say. And when you were talking about the film, it sounds like those are events to revitalize the culture or enhance the culture
Yeah.
of the people. Because I too grew up in the Fillmore.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, Fillmore and Fell and Fillmore and Grove.
So you know all about the film.
Know all about it.
Yeah.
I remember Fillmore when they had the Manor Plaza Hotel,
Yeah. Yeah.
the Blue Mirror,
Yeah. Yeah. Come on.
Rose Room. We had a lot of things that were going on because the people were listening to talks about what they could do and what they could be. And then they put forth the effort behind it, and they were those things. There were businesses all the way up
Yeah.
to Sutter Street. I remember Mundane, they had the liquor store up on the corner. There's a lot of businesses we had.
Now this is what we need.
Go ahead.
We really need. See, this is why I say we need to open that building up and put some programs in there, and have them like television based. Where, okay, now I'll give you an example. Now K-Pool Radio, they come on 24/7, right? Okay, now what if we? Now I talked to two of the producers. Emmett Powell, he does a gospel show, and also Bobby Webb, he does a blues show. Now, if we start producing those shows there, then they could do those shows in front of a live audience.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Well,
Right.
that would be a hook to get people to come, and they kick back and they see a real radio show going on, and we can have other programs going on in there also. Just like in the bar area, we could do something like Cheers. You see what I'm saying? Now what these shows would require is a camera crew. Now you got some brothers off the street who's learning how to be camera people. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now you put them to work. Now you got a sound person, you got a lighting director, you got a TD, and then you got camera people. So that's about an 8-man crew right there. Then if you do a cooking show, now you got another crew. So
These are providing jobs.
That's what I'm saying.
Providing education.
Yeah.
And studies have shown that when people are educated, they're more peaceful.
Yeah.
They're more loving. They have a better outlook on life. And is this what you're trying to do for the Western Edition?
Yeah, this is what I'm involved in. And seeing that this happens, this is my mission, man. Because we got all of the right people, man. If you think about it, here we is in San Francisco. Everybody's trying to get to San Francisco, and we know everybody. We know the mayor of San Francisco. Both mayors. We know. London Breed. Now she's the mayor, and she came up. That's a story right there. See, we could have some one of the colleges put something together to do a story on her, how she came up. That's inspiration. Then you got Willie Brown. You got all these. Then we got you yourself. Now you didn't travel all around the world, and so you got something to say. That's motivational, and that somebody can get some wisdom out of them. I just think that we got everything we need. All we need is the keys to get into place. Provided we preparing some paperwork right now. As far as how the program's going to work.
Well, we had talked earlier. Tell me more about the Percy Pinkley.
Oh yeah.
Center.
The Percy Pinkley. That's what we would call the program that would operate out of the Fillmore Heritage Center. It would be the Percy Pinkley Learning Center for Practical Life Skills. Calling it that because Percy was Dianne Feinstein's. He worked with Dianne Feinstein a a lot of years, and he knew a lot of the politicians, and through him, it's a lot of us. He saved a lot of lives, including mine.
Hmm.
So and the programs he had were really successful. That's what got me into photography at the time, and all those things back then. So we called it Percy Pinckney Learning Center because the positive programs that he had going on. Like we want to bring back the Mothers Club. That's get all the mothers involved, and the program I think it was called the Unwed Fathers. I mean, young teenage fathers or something like that. Thing where these programs gave youngsters some inspiration. They talked to different people. They had role models. It was uh, like if you wanted to learn janitorial or you wanted to learn how to be a bartender, we have that place is there for us, man. If you want to learn how to do something, all of those activities will, are there, and the skills needed to perform those different jobs. That would be the training. That would be the training these people would get. So after you went through this training program, you'd have all kind of marketable skills. So you'd be marketable. Like a lot of youngsters nowadays, they ain't got no skills. They ain't got nothing to fall back on. You know.
I
And
believe that even crime would be reduced
oh yeah, it
with
would.
this. I
I'm,
mean,
I'm
what you're saying is ideal. It's really what the Western edition needs. Um, People need to know what it is you do. What groups? How many groups are you working with to get this information out?
well, I'm working with quite a few groups. I work with the Brothers Against Guns. That's Sean Richards. Let's see, SPOA. That's Special Police Officers Association. Uh, I work with the NAACP periodically. Um, let's see. Mostly all the groups in Fillmore. Let's see. The New Leadership Forum. That's a new group. So I'm trying to get all these groups together on one accord so we can combine our ideas and present something to the city where we can open that building up and start the different programs that proven programs that will help reduce crime in the area and just change the, the thinking. We we off. It was off at at 52.
Should I stop?
Yeah, it